It feels like everywhere you look, music is losing its value. And I know this has been happening since they made those first records with like Wax or something, whatever that was. But it feels like it's been accelerating recently. You can listen to pretty much any song ever written for like $10 or something. It now takes pretty much zero skill and zero money to make music thanks to these new AI tools. Like, yes, thank you. That's what everyone's been asking for. I've been so sick of being able to listen to all the amazing music that humans have written for thousands of years. I just need to make my own with one prompt. Jokes, that's just for corporations who don't want to pay artists money. And the line between what's music and what's content these days is just so incredibly blurred when all these platforms look the same. Like, Spotify's trying to look like TikTok. Like, what is up with that? So in a world like this, I understand why we would continue to make music, because it's such an amazing experience. We get so much out of it. We love it. It's the best thing. But why would you release your music? Why would you submit yourself to these platforms and throw your music into the ocean of all the other music just for it to get lost? I mean, the chances of it cutting through without some really intelligent marketing are really slim, let's be honest. And uploading it to these platforms kind of reduces your music to the streaming game, where its whole value is reduced down to one number, which, let's be honest, for me as well, it's not going to be a very big number. These are the questions that I had with my debut EP, which is the most precious thing to me that I've ever made. And this is why it took me over 2 years to release it. But if you've been following along, you'll know that a couple days ago, I did release it finally. So I must have found some answers, right? Just a disclaimer, things aren't actually this bad. I'm just attacking the worst case scenario, because if we can find an answer in that worst case, we can find an answer anywhere. So the root of all these questions, I've come to realize, comes from the fundamental question: what is the value of music? And I'm not talking about just economic value and whether or not it can make money, but that is part of it. But at a fundamental level, if something has economic value, it has value to people. People want it, so they'll pay for it. There's a little bit more to it, but that's my logic. That's what I'm going to run with. So I asked myself, what is the value of music? And the answer came like way too quickly, and it felt way too self-evident. Music's just entertainment. It's not just any kind of entertainment. It's like this amazing form of entertainment that can create emotions with sounds and then soundtrack our lives and make them feel so much more rich. But it's still just entertainment. I'm entertained. Are you entertained? But then I needed to know, why did that answer seem so obvious to me? I think it's because of how I've engaged with music my entire life. As a listener, I'm Gen Z, so I've grown up with like streaming services. And if a song didn't entertain me after 30 seconds, it was just one swipe away from the next one. I grew to like believe and feel that the value of a song came in the entertainment value in the first 30 seconds or the first listen or whatever. And it's not just in the way that I've listened to music. As someone who creates music, when you start making music, it's kind of shit. It's like really bad. But as you get better, you make music that sounds better and it's more entertaining, and you like it better and people around you like it better because they're more entertained. So you grow to understand that your music has more value when it's more entertaining to yourself and to other people. But then I've noticed this really interesting phenomenon where you get good enough at making songs that sound good and are entertaining that no matter how much more effort you put into the entertainment value, it doesn't like get better. People don't value it more, and you kind of don't either. So you're in a weird spot of being like, this worked before, why does it not work anymore? I thought the value of music was when it was more entertaining. The thing is, this just doesn't really feel right. We've all had experiences with music which is so much more than entertainment, and I'm sure a lot of the music that sticks in our minds as being so important to us isn't because it like entertained us through a period, it's because of something else. But what is that thing? So to answer that question, I asked myself, why do I value the music that I value? Why do I value this EP, Transit, more than all the other music that I've made? The answer's pretty obvious here. It's that this EP has more of me in it than anything else that I've ever made. This was made during a really difficult period, and it's almost like an auditory diary of this time in a way that I could express myself. Okay, I like music that's got an authentic part of me in it, sure, but I also like it because it sounds good. It's entertaining, but I think the two go together. I value the entertainment value insofar as that it allows me to convey myself with other people. If the music sounded like shit, no one would listen to it. Yes, I would have expressed myself in some authentic way, which is awesome, but I do want to share it with other people. That means that I arrive at a definition where, as an artist, I value the music that I do when it's got a real part of me in it, and when people who listen to it can feel and connect to that real part as well. Kind of just sounds like music is communication. Huh. Let's test that theory from a listener perspective now. Disclosure are some of my all-time favorite artists. What I think I love so much about them is that I can feel the energy that they have for life, and like the vitality and the sheer like optimism with everything that's going on. I love it. And that just feels like such a real part of Guy and Howard. I also really connected with this guy back in high school. And I'm sure it's pretty similar for everyone who's connected with Eminem, but I valued back in high school when I had like little control and I was just a high school boy, I valued his fuck you attitude and like, I'm gonna do what I wanna do regardless attitude. That was a real part of him, and I think I connected with it. And with Mac, if you don't already know, I am a massive fan of Mac Miller, and one of the things I think I value so much is his version of masculinity that he portrays, the self-confidence, the confidence in his sexuality, the confidence in his emotionality. Like, it's a guy that I want to be. And yes, obviously, I listen to all this music because it slaps and it sounds good. But I think for a while I didn't realize how much of that aesthetic and the sound that I liked because it was a true part of them that was being conveyed. The theory holds up. Music is communication. I connect with music that portrays a real part of these artists and connects with a real part of me that I value. But the title of this video isn't "What's the value of music?" It's "Why should I share my music?" We're getting to that.
I wouldn't go there far with you, 'cause you'll see the world, not even me to go. You won't remember when the skies were blue. Has it really been that long? That's the first song on Transit, and if I was still understanding music as purely entertainment, there are 1,000 songs that sound better than that. There are 100,000 songs which are more entertaining to a listener, and that has no value. But as soon as I start thinking of music as more than that, as communication, that's the best thing in the world. There's nothing in the world that can convey how I was feeling at that time better than that song can, and there's no one in the world who can do it better than me. My value is still intact, no matter how commodified music ever gets.
Adopting this perspective is what's given me the confidence that my work will continue to have value no matter what happens. I'm sure this idea seems very obvious to a lot of the older generation particularly, and cultures have been using music like this for years and hundreds and thousands of years, but it's not very obvious in the streaming era. I know for me, for a while, it felt like I didn't really have anything to say, so I think I clung to the aesthetic and the entertainment value at more than I should have. But I think even when you don't realize it, you are still saying things about yourself and your unique position in the world which people connect to. That said, I think it is important that we focus on trying to develop this part of ourselves so that we're not just making random shit that doesn't really have any meaning at all, but I still think meaning comes through even if you don't intend it to, just naturally. This whole idea of music being communication has been confirmed in part by the singles which I released before this EP. I was stunned by the reception. The first one particularly, Thoughts from an Unfamiliar Place, is about a really particular situation that happened to me when I came home and home didn't feel like home anymore. And the way I talk about that experience is so singular to that experience that I didn't think anyone would connect with it. They'd probably empathize, but they wouldn't connect. But what I got was a lot of people in real life and people I know, and also people online in the comments talking about how they have had similar experiences and how this really resonated with them. Just fucking floored me. And I don't know if it should have. I don't know if that just shows how in my own perspective I've been for so long, but it blew me away and it really confirmed that the communication aspect of music is alive and well and very, very important. When I see things like this happening to my work, it's really hard not to want to share all of it. It's really hard to not want to brave whatever feelings or emotions I might get by putting it on the streaming platforms because these responses are so strong and people actually care. While at the start of this video, I kind of said that uploading stuff to streaming platforms and releasing it kind of reduces its value automatically to the streaming numbers or whatever. I don't entirely believe that, and this has kind of reinforced that. We get to choose what the value is in our music. We don't naturally submit to that, and we only submit to that if we allow that to become the only value that we feel from it. If we get obsessed over the numbers and forget about these connections that actually matter. I've been worried about the value of music for a long time, but understanding that it's communication makes me think that it's such an innate thing, and I truly believe that if music is communication, then people are going to want to listen to music from other people for as long as people need to talk to other people. and that's going to be for a long time. So this is the take that I've arrived at, and I truly believe it, but you might not. And I think it's really important, because we're all different people, that we all do our own digging into what we actually value in music. There are heaps of amazing things to value about music, and I'm just one guy. So go do some digging and figure out what it means for you. The full EP Transit is out. I'll link it below in the description if you want to listen and understand a bit more of me. But other than that, make sure you just keep making music and keep releasing it, because the world needs to hear it. All right, bye.